I'm at 636 Hyde Park Drive in Dayton, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, any root intrusion, anything that would be concerning to the buyer. Trying to clean off the lens a little bit here. Doesn't want to. For some reason, there's a piece on there that does not want to come clean. A lot of it there. But the clean out is in the front yard there. Just you can see there is the front door. It's just right here in the ground covering. It's PVC. Blended in pretty good. Now it does have a sweep on it, which means it's going to force me to only be able to go out towards the street. It just means that I won't be able to inspect the line in the house or under the house. It's not too many feet of pipe. The bathroom is probably in the center of the house there, but due to lack of access, it's going to be pretty difficult to I won't be able to go upstream and look at the stuff under the house. Now, it is cast iron, and cast iron is a very strange, it's a good material, but we don't really know what kind of life expectancy it has, stuff like that. You're basically looking for functionality more than anything, and so when you're when you are looking at cast iron, the main thing you want to be aware of is that it is really rough on the inside, and so it does tend to have a little more frequency of soft clogs, which are like when you too much toilet paper. Wet wipes are a big issue. Don't want to use wet wipes at all. They say they're flushable, but they are not. They will go down your toilet, but they can cause problems as far as backups and stuff like that. So never recommend using those. If you're going to, just throw them in the trash and not down the toilet, and so they don't catch on the rough edges of that cast iron. Other than that, the cast iron, you're basically looking for functionality with that. No big in most cases you'd be able to see any large holes or anything like that. What should happen most likely is that with this, as soon as I get out and this turns, which I apologize for the black screen, I'm going to have to try to rinse the camera off. But but it should switch over to clay once basically once we get past right around where the clean out is. It'll go out, and then there'll be some it'll switch over to clay, which is very common, and we'll see if we can rinse this off here. I'm trying to get some water down in the line. Should rinse off there. There we go. And so, there we go. There's a bunch of dead stuff there in the beginning there. I apologize for me just talking. But here we are at the base of the clean out, and it goes into, looks like it goes right into clay almost immediately, which is good. Clay is a really good material. The biggest things we usually find with clay is root intrusion. This is because of the sections are in 3-foot pieces. This actually looks like it has been lined, maybe. Really hard to see. I'll be able to tell better when I get up to a seam, but yeah, it looks like this has been lined, or it is concrete. It's a weird color, and some of the buildup doesn't seem rough enough to be concrete. But there is a spot there with a connection. Huh. I believe this is concrete. It just doesn't have. So I was wrong. I thought maybe it had been lined, but looks like it's concrete. It just doesn't have a whole lot of wear to it. If it was a liner, there would be some letters, and you wouldn't have a connection like this. If you see how that actually has a connection, it would just be. You'd see the seam, but it would get past it. But the good news is I don't see any issues at all so far. I was expecting to actually, with this tree in the front, I was expecting to find some pretty major root intrusion. But this line looks great. It does, I mean, it kind of looks like PVC, but it doesn't look like it looks like it was assembled. Weird, and with all the grooves at the bottom, you can see some exposed aggregate on the sides. And so this is concrete. It's just it doesn't look like many other types. And then we are here at about 65 feet. We finally get some root intrusion, and this looks like right at a joint, and right where it goes into clay. So 65 to 67 feet, it's turning, and then the roots are getting in the clay. And we have some growing in right here on the top. A good deal of roots here at 72 feet. So most of the line here has looked really good, but it's kind of a weird thing, because it is a situation where the most of the line looked great, and this is probably off the property, but this is probably going to have to be cleaned. You can see how heavy that root intrusion is there, from 72 all the way down to 75. We're getting very close to the main. Yes, we should be. Looks like there's a little bit of stuff right here on the end. Based off the footage, I'm going to see if we can run some water down through here so I can get a little bit of help. So I'm going to pause the video for a second and try to run some water. Okay, we've got some water running. Seems like it's actually carrying it pretty good. There we go. And so now hopefully I'll be able to get the camera to push a little easier. There we go. A little bit of water to help carry that, and then we'll turn it off when we pull back. Well, based off the footage, I was going to say I have to be getting really close to the main, and here we are. So, now I'm going to pause the video and turn the water off. We'll let it drain down, and then we'll pull back and take a little bit better look. And I'll also probably locate that offset spot, because if it's far enough out in the street, which I believe it is, may be the responsibility of the sewer department. So I'm going to again pause the video and turn the water off, let it drain down. Okay, looks like it's calm down now. So we're going to go ahead and pull back, and we'll hopefully get a little look at the line here. This all looked really good structurally. There's one spot with an offset, and that's where all those roots are getting in. That was the worst spot of roots. Goes right around in here. Let's see, so from 74 feet here, there is this there's an offset, and it is like the downstream side is what is dropped, so it wouldn't obstruct flow, but there is the spot where the roots are getting in. So I'm going to pause the video and locate this and see if this where it is, and see if it's off the property. So okay, this is right inside the curb inside the yard, just before the curb, and so it's borderline. It depends on how much they are responsible for. I'm not really sure. It all depends on the area. But either case, it's an offset. Like I said, it's dropped, but it's dropped on the downstream side, so it shouldn't obstruct flow if the roots are cleared. And so you could do a cleaning, regular maintenance that would include some chemical treatment, like some Root X or something, that would help get the majority of these roots here and get it taken care of. So that's what I'm going to recommend, that you refer this to a licensed plumber for cleaning. You can see the only roots are right where it goes into the clay at 67 feet, and then that big bundle at 73 feet. So, 65. And this was another really bad spot. Which is about 65 feet, and then 67 feet. This spot 65 to 67 feet is pretty heavy also. And so I'm going to recommend again that refer this to a licensed plumber, and to
make an evaluation on that offset, but it's definitely going to have to be cleaned. But it doesn't start until there. All the rest of this line looks really good. I mean, I just don't know if this has been... It's very hard to tell the material. Like I mentioned a few times, I mean, it looks like PVC, but very old PVC, like with the connections. It looks like very old PVC, but I thought it was maybe concrete because of the area. This isn't usually a problem I have. But all this coming up through here looks really good. I mean, based off of the footage in between, I'd say, you know, we're at about 49 feet. And then the connections are about every 10 feet. That is consistent with PVC. And so they are 10-foot sections. So it wouldn't be, I doubt it, so concrete is a lot shorter than that most of the time. And so I'd say this is PVC, you know, all the way out to that point at about 65 feet. And it looked great all the way to that point. But it did have some, obviously we had that root intrusion there. So as we pull back, you can see, I mean, all this is wide open, structurally sound, no issues at all. And then you get out to that spot where the demarcation line, where most likely is where the property ends, and then it would be the responsibility of the sewer district. So you could contact them first and find out if they're responsible for that area in the yard. Being that it's so close, it's within, you know, 10 feet of the curb, or 5 feet of the curb. It's very, very close. That would be the first thing, is that I would recommend contacting the sewer department and see if they would be responsible for that area, and if so, then obviously they would dig that up and repair that spot with the offset, or at least evaluate it. But you will need to at least clean the roots out. And then if nothing else is done, you'll have to do some regular maintenance, you know, some root X yearly, maybe, to kind of flush down through there and kill off the roots. But it is going to need an initial cleaning to get rid of those roots. And then after that, you can do that preventative maintenance with the chemical and should be able to keep the roots down. And as long as that tree is standing there, it will continue to grow into the line. But most of the line structurally up to that 65-foot mark, all that PVC looks great structurally, and it's wide open and flowing. So the only concern is once it gets into that clay, when it gets off the property. So that'll end the inspection at 636 Hyde Park Drive in Dayton, Ohio.